It's been 1 year since the community learned the details surrounding the death of Daniel Prude. On this day last year, Rochester police body camera footage was released, showing the March 2020 encounter between officers and Daniel Prude on that cold night. Prude died several days after that encounter. Today, activists and family members still demanding justice and change. Allie Peters joins us live from the Public Safety Building with what they had to say. Allie.
Adam, after that body camera footage was released a year ago today, weeks of protests began, including some violent clashes with police and numerous investigations, some of those still ongoing. But today, activists gathered to say justice is far from being served.
We are still here. We are vigilant, and we are holding space for them in this time.
A year after the death of Daniel Prude became public, community members say they're still fighting for justice.
The cops have still not been prosecuted. There has been no accountability for the murder of Daniel Prude.
Police body camera released on this day in 2020 showed Rochester police officers pinning Prude to the ground while he was naked and putting a mesh spit mask over his face. The Attorney General's office said the 41-year-old was having a mental health crisis at the time. Days later, Prude died.
The pain and agony that my family is enduring right now, the conflict that I have with my family about all this is when it's going to be resolved. I have no answers for them.
None of the officers involved in the encounter with Prude have been charged, but activists say some who protested his death are going to trial.
I'll go to court for trial in December, so after this year, I may be locked up.
Now, a year later, activists renewing calls for more to be done.
Small incremental steps is not the answer. We want large steps immediately, and we want the police defunded by 50%.
The group also calling for the passage of Daniel's Law, which would require mental health professionals to respond to mental health and substance abuse emergencies instead of police. Now, after today's gathering, I did reach out to the Rochester Police Department to see if they wanted to comment, but they have not replied. The department does still have to release its internal investigation into Prude's death. Live in Rochester, I'm Allie Peters, News 8.
Allie, thank you. Daniel Prude's death was ruled a homicide by the Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office. They said he died due to complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint. Officials also said he had a small amount of PCP in his system when he was restrained. And today, Rochester police have announced the update of two major policies for the department. This after a third-party review of the department's procedures and training programs. A consulting firm was brought in last November to help determine the best practices for policing. The two officer policies updated by the firm relate to use of force and use of force for juveniles. The reforms limit the amount of force an officer can use on someone who's restrained and prohibits certain techniques on juveniles. The city is expected to release the report to the public later this year. Today, Executive Director of the Police Accountability Board responded to these policy changes.
There's just too much vagueness here, too much vagueness. If you are trying to actually create guidelines for officers, you want clear rules so that officers know what to do and what not to do. And all of this, saying you can't do something except for special circumstances, but they don't define what the special circumstances are. The department will probably say that these things are all, well, we'll train the officers on them, but they don't open that training up to the public. And so we could be in the same old world we are, a couple months ago, where rules don't tell the public what officers can or can't do.
For more information on these policy changes and full coverage and a complete timeline of Daniel Prude's death and investigation, go to rochesterfirst.com.